course, on a show called The American Dream, you got to talk about the real estate game, but I love getting into niche expertise. Joining us out of Beverly Hills, Kofi Nartey. You are with Compass. You're an author of Celebrity. You got a $60 million listing, and you're coaching realtors on luxury real estate and helping celebrities sell their home and more, right? So thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. It's great to be here,
So
Craig.
let's dive right in, man. I mean,
Sure.
everything about what you do is cool and sexy, right? Working with celebrities, luxury real estate, it's something that I think entertains just about everybody.
Right.
And it's obviously your profession and your business. So talk about that, working in the luxury real estate market out of
Right.
Beverly Hills. How is it?
Well, first, it's cool and sexy on the surface.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like cool, calm, and collected, like the duck on water. But we're pedaling every single day, working with not only celebrity clients, but high net worth individuals, high expectations. We're working with their gatekeepers, the business managers, the wealth managers. And when people operate and function at that level, their expectations of service are also elevated.
Sure.
So we have to be able to step up and step into that seamlessly.
Okay, so explain how you do step up, because
Sure.
selling a median price home is probably a different approach than your recent $60 million listing. How do you
Right.
step up?
Well, first, it's understanding their lifestyles, right? And so if you haven't had exposure, you want to gain that exposure just so you can manage their expectations. When you reach a certain level in any industry, a lot of things are taken care of for you.
Right.
Even with the celebrities, they have craft services on set. They have people driving them places.
Yep.
They get to show up and just focus on what they need to focus on. So for us, it takes a level of understanding of the market. So the first thing is trust. And trust comes from understanding the market,
Sure.
knowing that you have the expertise, knowing that you have the integrity. And everyone who's part of my team and part of even our sports and entertainment division nationally has been vetted to not only have real estate experience, but specific experience working with people in sports and entertainment.
Right, so you're very well niched. You're talking about that market expertise. What about
Right.
marketing expertise, right?
Right.
Taking a multi-million-dollar property to market, what's the approach to get the right eyeballs? And of course, anyone who's selling their home wants top dollar. How do we do that?
It's a process. One, you have to understand who your target demographic is. A lot of things that we talk about in real estate pertain to other industries, but we apply them to real estate and we apply them to selling the story of a property.
Sure.
Right? I'll repeat that because that's really a big part of it.
Yep.
Selling the story of the property. So who are you selling that story to? Who is the home appropriate for? How do you articulate that in a way where the buyer can see themselves, hear themselves, smell themselves living in that specific property?
So how do you do it? Video, I assume?
Well, a lot of it is, one, even understanding the property itself. So we tour
Yeah.
the property, we ask the clients to tell us stories about living there. It's something a lot of agents don't do. You know, you go, you look at the four walls, you look at the bedrooms, you have the specifics, but I want to know what it was like to live here. And as they're telling me that, I'm translating that into a story that I can then tell prospective buyers.
Got it.
Then we capture the story, right? We capture the story through the photography, professional photography, day, night, twilight, the sexy
Yeah.
shots, then the videos, all of the things that capture the essence of that story. And then we use that for the marketing.
Now, when you get it out, how important is digital and social in today's world?
It's more important than ever. And it's continuing to grow in the different vehicles through social, the different vehicles through digital. We have to stay on top of that. We have to meet our clients where they are.
So what I like about it is you mentioned that it's not just the real estate vertical. These are it's a kind of a B2B book
Yes.
that you're helping other business professionals understand maybe the mindset,
Correct.
the approach, and the
Correct.
execution on working with these high-class athletes.
Exactly.
What are some good takeaways? Why should someone read the book?
I think, one, if you're trying to work with celebrities
Sure.
and high net worth individuals, there's going to be a lot of takeaways. Two, I went to business school while I was in real estate.
Okay.
And I did that because of the level of clients that I was looking to service and what I wanted to bring to those clients. So interspersed throughout the book are a lot of just business practices, marketing techniques, things that anyone can use in any industry. So, and then three, it's a short book. I mean, I wrote it myself. I didn't have a ghostwriter, and that's
Good,
between full-time business,
I don't
2
even
kids.
know if that registered with people, but I mean, if you're going to write a book, write the damn book.
Right,
You know, the
right.
ghostwriter thing, there's just so much phoniness out there. I'm glad you actually wrote the book, big
Yeah.
or small. I know it's from personal experience. You're sharing your
100%.
story, and you
100%.
got a great story. I mean,
Thank you.
you're dominating the game in Beverly Hills. You're the luxury expert up there, writing books and coaching all at the same time.
That's it.
Appreciate you coming on the show.
Of course. It's a pleasure
Find
being
him
here,
on
Craig.
social media and 2 watches.
2 watches.
That's a good making the wife happy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks again.
All right, more of the American Dream coming up next. The American Dream is now spanning across 23 cities. Real estate a big topic of conversation. Well, it's one thing to find your dream home. It's another thing to finance your dream home. Dave Savage, who is a mortgage guru, the CEO of Mortgage Coach, looked up to by many in the industry, joins us on the show. Dave, good to have you on.
It's great to be on the show, Craig. Always love having great conversations with you.
Yeah, so let's talk about the mortgage side of things. Seems like the industry is in a bit of chaos and disruption right now. From your point of view, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. The best of the best are still killing it. We just had in the news that Zillow bought a mortgage company. I mean, at the end of the day, for the best local mortgage professionals, it's an opportunity. I mean, they, giving great advice, helping families make the best decisions. It's as good as ever, and the best of the best are thriving.
I have to get you to comment on that, the Zillow and the Amazon thing. I just saw that as well. What do you think that's going to do to the marketplace?
I mean, everything that makes mortgages faster, more efficient, creates a modern experience for the family, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, for mortgage professionals that aren't embracing technology, they're not using mobile apps to help families make better decisions, it puts pressure on them to do so. But I think anything that's good for the family, good for the consumer, takes time out of the equation, ultimately is good for everybody.
I think in those states of chaos, there's opportunity to gain market share. You can't really gain market share if you're not a great marketer. Explain how the world has moved in digitally, socially, as it pertains to the mortgage industry.
Well, I mean, you're a great example of that, of how you have built this show that helps local mortgage professionals become the digital mayor in the markets that they serve, how you're helping them connect with agents, realtors that are serious about education and serious about communication in their local markets. So, I mean, I just think your show itself is a leading example of how to show leadership, because at the end of the day, it's all about communication. What does a family want when they get a home or a mortgage? They want communication. Be straight with me, be candid with me. What do agents work with, the loan officers they work with? They want good communication. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I appreciate the shout out there, Dave. And I want to go a little bit deeper. Full disclosure to our audience, in every city that we launch the American Dream, we isolate one elite expert in the mortgage space to be the voice for that marketplace. So it could be talking about loan product, interest rates, information that consumers or realtors should know. Dave has facilitated many of the introductions to who we've chosen to be that exclusive expert. Dave, why have you chosen those specific people, the Ryan Kiefers, the Kelly Zitlows, the Rick Scherers, the Andy Tuttles? I mean, these are some of the best in the business, but why did you think they'd be a good fit out of those cities?
Well, I mean, Mortgage Coach was founded on this belief that the best mortgage professional is the best teacher. Someone that's an educator that leads with advice and education. And so, every time you're coming into a city, I look at who are the best mortgage coaches, because those are loan officers that believe that, they don't want to talk about rates and fees with families. They want to talk about hopes and dreams. What are your hopes and dreams around building wealth with real estate? And then let me help you get a mortgage decision that aligns around those hopes and dreams. So, I mean, it's really easy. I mean, with the amazing community that we built up, I pick the loan officers that are having the most hopes and dreams conversations, using technology to help families understand how to achieve their hopes and dreams with mortgage decisions. It's a layup, Craig. I mean, it's just the perfect partnership.
Dave, so with this industry moving as quickly as it is, not just this industry, but every industry with technology and the digital age that we're in, what do you think our conversation looks like in a year from now?
Boy, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do not believe technology will eliminate loan officers or realtors, but I do believe that loan officers and realtors who master technology to deliver a high-touch, high-tech experience will absolutely take out the loan officers that don't. So I think that'll just become more obvious and evident a year from now. 2-3 years from now, I mean, it's going to be glaringly obvious.
And what advice would you give to anybody who is buying a home or refinancing a home? So B2C, give us some consumer advice here.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, when you're buying a home, you need options. Anybody that's just providing hey, here's the loan, you should do it, that's someone who's selling a rate and a payment and a product. So get options. Those should be delivered so that there's graphs and charts. And if you're consuming it from a mobile device, you've got an app. You can look at your options. We call it a total cost analysis, but I think every family that gets, whether you're going from renting to owning, whether you're moving up, whether you're picking between FHA and conventional, get a total cost analysis and work with a loan officer that does that.
Dave Savage is the guru in the mortgage space. Always great having you on the American Dream. Thank you, Dave, for coming on the show.
It's always an honor, Craig. It's good to talk with you, buddy.
All right, more of the American Dream coming up next.
Welcome back. Our next guests are out in Nashville, Tennessee. We have an insurance specialist on with one of our top producing realtors. Please welcome back to the show, Jacey Cook, realtor with Cry-Like, and Jen Barone. She is an agency owner with MetLife Auto and Home. Ladies, it's so great to have you on the show. Welcome back, Jacey, and welcome, Jen.
Thanks, Sarah. We're super excited to be here today.
Absolutely.
And good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. So I know that we're kind of talking about insurance today in Nashville. And Jacey, you were telling us that you felt really important that you bring Jen onto the show. So can you give us a little bit of the scoop about Jen and what she does?
Absolutely. So Jen is my insurance partner, and she's an agency owner with MetLife Auto and Home. And a big important topic with real estate is homeowners insurance, and there are specific things that are pertinent to Nashville that I wanted Jen to educate the public about today. So that's why I brought her on.
Oh, perfect. Well, Jen, welcome. And I know as an agency owner, there's probably, topics that come up all the time, especially within real estate. But what do you think is the number one insurance topic that Nashvillians really need to be aware of?
What's really important to keep in mind is that when you're insuring a product, so to speak, like when you get home insurance or you get auto insurance, most people think that they're insuring an item. And really the bigger picture is that you're insuring yourself and protecting yourself and your assets. So when you're purchasing a home, and even if you already own one, not only do you need to make sure you have proper coverages on the home, but you need to make sure you have proper coverages on the auto side of things so you're protecting your assets as well. For example, if you get in your car to go to work every day, you literally want to think about strapping your home and every asset that you have on the roof of your car so that if an incident happens on your way to work, all of those things, your home and all of their assets, they're basically up for grabs. So it's important to have a local agent walk through those things step by step with you.
Okay, perfect. Sounds super important. And Jacey, I know that you were saying that there's two insurance topics that are very specific to the Nashville market. So can you tell us quickly about those? And then Jen, what's also the importance there?
Absolutely. The two main things that I think I always end up educating the customer on, and that's what Jen is so good about, is we have an influx of condos and townhomes being built in Nashville right now. The insurance with those is completely different. And Jen, speak to that a little bit. We have HOA fees associated with those condos and townhomes. And what part of insurance does that include? And then what do you need to help provide them?
Absolutely. So with condos and townhomes, typically, it's not just your standard home policy. You have an HOA that provides a master policy, which is going to kick in the event of a large loss. So it's actually most oftentimes what's considered an HO6, a condo policy. So when you're paying those HOA fees and you're like, where is this money going? Just keep in mind that it's actually saving you on the back end, and your condo insurance will actually be less than typical. So it should average out.
Okay, perfect. And then the other topic was, if you lived in Nashville in 2010, you're fully aware, but with so many new people moving to the market, we had a tremendous flood here, and it devastated a lot of the town. And FEMA recently rezoned a lot of our areas. And obviously most people know if your house is in a floodplain, it requires flood insurance. But Jen, there's some misconceptions about flood insurance. So tell them a little bit about that.
Absolutely. First and foremost, the biggest misconception is that you only need it if you're in a floodplain or if your mortgage company requires it. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Ask anybody that was here in 2010. There was a lot of devastation for people that did not have a flood policy. But the other large misconception is that it's incredibly expensive. And honestly, I've seen policies as little as just a couple $100s for an entire year, depending on where it's located. So be sure to check with your insurance agent on what that would look like for your home, regardless of what the requirement is.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Well, before I let you go, I know we're kind of running out of time, but Jacey, there's a new development I know you wanted to highlight. Can you talk about that briefly?
Yes, thanks, Sarah. So the new development that I want to talk about is the Summit at White Bridge, and it is located at 239 White Bridge Road. It's an awesome new development that they're almost finished with phase one. There are 19 townhomes. They are 3 stories. They're all 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths with large 2-car garages. And there are a couple of things that are fantastic about these units. They are high-end finishes. There's some really nice touches. Kind of mud rooms at the bottom of the stairs. There's unbelievable views from the balconies, the rooftop balconies off the master bedrooms in these, large patios off the back of the main level. But the finishes and the price on these they range from $480 all the way up to about $515. It's just, they're beautiful. And the location is really super close to Charlotte and in between kind of Harding Road and Charlotte Pike. So in a very good location to getting downtown and close to the highways. But they're built by they're excuse me, built by Brookstone Group. And yeah, Summit at White Bridge, I can't say enough. They're starting the next phase of 9 builds, and they'll all be completed by the summer of 2019.
Amazing. Well, everybody should contact you, Jacey, to get the scoop on that when they're all ready. And thank you so much again for coming on. Great to see you. And Jen, thanks for coming on as well.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Sarah.
And we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Jim Payne, and I'm with Exit Realty, the Moore Group and Associates. And my office is located in Franklin, Tennessee. And today I'm coming to you from my front porch. I live in a neighborhood called West Haven that's in Franklin in Williamson County. Williamson County is one of the fastest growing counties in the state, and Franklin is one of the fastest growing cities. And West Haven is one of its more popular neighborhoods. And my family and I just love it here. We could have chosen to live anywhere, but we really like just the look and feel of the neighborhood. The houses have front porches typically, driveways and alleys in the back of the houses, so it makes it real walkable, real friendly. We can sit on our porch and chat with our neighbors as they walk by, and there's just a lot of amenities here as well. There's a golf course, swimming pool, tennis courts, lots of parks. Now that my wife and I have grandkids, we love taking them to the pool. It's just a great family friendly neighborhood, and there's lots of things to enjoy about it. There's also a retail center, there's a grocery store, several different restaurants. There's Oscar's Taco, West Side Wine and Spirits, which is one of my wife's favorite places, and Chinese food, UPS store, just all sorts of things like that. And this makes it real convenient to live here in a great place. The schools are great, so just lots and lots of families that live here. That was one of the main reasons why we chose to look in here, was just the look of it. But now that we're here, we just love the people. There's lots of activities. Every summer there's a thing called Porch Fest. They turn about 50 porches into music venues, and thousands and thousands of people come to it. It's open to the community, so it's a great way to see the neighborhood. Food trucks and art and craft show, just lots of activities. There's a hot air balloon festival every summer. There's a whiskey warmer event in the fall, so just something going on every month, it seems. And you don't have to be a golfer to love the golf course. There's also a social membership, so you can just join the clubhouse and enjoy the food and just meeting your neighbors. Lots of other events. One neighbor put together a supper club. So every quarter, 8 couples or 4 couples, 8 people get together for dinner, and you kind of rotate around. The host family can either provide the food or they cater it in. It's just another great way to meet your neighbors. So just lots of good things here. Just made West Haven a perfect fit for me and my family. In addition to living here, I work in the neighborhood, and I work all over Franklin and Middle Tennessee. But what makes it unique for me to live here and work here is I have a unique program, even a special website just for West Haven residents. Jim sells West Haven for $950.com. And what that means is, instead of charging the full listing commission when I sell a home in West Haven, which is typically or commonly 6%, I waive the listing portion of the commission and only charge a $950 flat fee. The only condition is that you have to use me to buy your next home. So I save families, just about 3% when I sell their home. And they can use that money to put into their next home. And lots of people in West Haven are moving up or down in size. A lot of people move here to be close to their parents. A lot of grandparents move here to be close to their grandkids. So you don't have to buy in West Haven to get that program, but you certainly can. As long as you buy something in Middle Tennessee, I can save a family thousands and thousands of dollars. On a $500,000 house, I'm saving that family about $15,000. So I find that very rewarding to do, and we have to do it a lot because we have to sell 2 houses to get paid, but it's very rewarding. We get a lot of referrals that way, and it's just a great program, and it's real. The savings is real. Families save a lot of money using this program. Every holiday there's a big special event. The 4th of July there's a big kids parade. All the families decorate their golf carts or their bicycles or their wagons and even their dogs. So it's a real family oriented day, of course, on the 4th of July, but a lot of fun, a really fun event. And also in Halloween they have a thing called Witch Haven, which is just crazy. I think the other neighborhoods bring in kids by the busload, but there's besides the normal trick-or-treating, there's haunted houses, and some of the adults participate as well with chili cook-offs and different things. And then for Christmas there's a big one night illuminary that everybody puts the paper bags, or now we have plastic that look like paper bags but light up, so they just light up the neighborhood, and it looks great at Christmas time as well.
For our mortgage update, I've got Kevin Watson with Churchill Mortgage. He's the branch manager in Brentwood, Tennessee. Hi, Kevin. Welcome to the American Dream.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm really good, really good.
So my question for you today is, what would help borrowers in a competitive market like Nashville be able to get a loan when they're going up against cash buyers or just other offers?
Yeah, we have that happen a whole lot because there are many people low inventory. We're very low on inventory, and a lot of people offering the same. So what I would recommend is getting all the way through approval. They can have their income, their assets, and their ability to qualify already verified by a full underwriter. And then when they do go to make an offer, they're going to be that much further ahead, 2, maybe even 3 weeks ahead of someone who's just applying. And they'll be able to make an offer faster and compete better. It wouldn't be a cash deal, but they'd be able to compete at a better rate than others who haven't gotten to that point.
All right. Well, Kevin, thank you so much with our mortgage update.
Thank you.
Our next guest from Nashville, Tennessee is here to talk a little bit about some title tips. Please welcome back to the show, Chris Corriveau, president at Midtown Title. Hi, Chris. Welcome back to the American Dream. Great to have you today.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Well, Chris, can you tell me a little bit about title insurance and how title insurance differs from other types of insurances like auto or even health insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. So auto and health insurance is based on loss assumption. There's little work to do on the front end, and the insurance carrier is going to assume that you're going to have to use the policy in the future. If you have health insurance, obviously you may have to go see the doctor. If you have a car wreck, you have to make a claim on your insurance for your car. Whereas title insurance actually emphasizes on loss prevention. We do all of our work on the front end. We're actually doing a labor-intensive record search to make sure that the person who owns the property has a right to sell the property to a person, and that there's no liens, no mortgages, no back taxes, no income taxes, just no items that would be detrimental to a person's ownership of the property. And once we check all those items off, if everything does check out, we're actually able to issue the new homeowner title insurance policy, which protects their ownership interest in the house. And it's actually something we would defend their interest in a court of law if a claim ever came up after we completed our work.
Okay, so it does sound like it is important to have. As far as new construction, I know Middle Tennessee, there's a lot in that area right now. Can you tell me why title insurance would be recommended for a newly constructed home, even though the home itself really doesn't have any title history?
Yeah, so even though the house is brand new, to you doesn't mean that the land is brand new. The land has been there actually since the dawn of time. So there's been ownership of that land for a long period of time. So what we want to do, as we alluded to earlier, was we do a record search. We want to make sure that all the items on the ownership is correct. And whenever that house is purchased at that point in time, if the ownership records are correct, then we're able to issue you, the homeowner, a title insurance policy that ensures your investment in that property is safe. So yeah, the house is new, but the land is still not new at that point in time. So there still could be items out there that could be detrimental to the ownership of the property.
Okay, all right, good to know. Now I know there's two different types of title insurance policies that can be purchased. So can you tell me some differences between the standard title insurance policy and then the enhanced title insurance policy, and why maybe that enhanced policy would be the best option when purchasing a newly constructed home?
Yeah, so an enhanced policy itself, the biggest differences between the policies are on new construction house. You're not sure if the house has been built. In the state of Tennessee, you're not required to have a survey when you purchase property. So you really have no idea where the boundaries of the property are, where the house has been built. Is it built in the correct spot that allowed for it? And so the enhanced policy itself actually protects the homeowners if the house was not built in a proper location, if it was built over the property lines. It also protects against any liens and judgments from prior contractors who maybe worked for the builder on the property. And I think the number one issue that it has that's a benefit to customers is that a traditional title insurance policy, once you purchase it, let's say if it's $100,000, the policy is only good for $100,000. Whereas in the enhanced version, it increases 10% a year for the first 5 years. So, and after year 5, your policy's actually got a value of 150% as opposed to just what you paid for it.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on and giving us some insight into the title insurance and why it's important to have. And of course, I'm sure you get all those questions a lot about the newly constructed homes. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. And stick around, more interviews right after this.
That's all for today's show. See you next week.